Hi everyone, Mitch and JoLinn Hoover. Thank you so much for having us be a part of this event. We're super sorry that we can't be there in person, but we'd like to present to you some video clips on what we're passionate about, our Versatility ranch horse, ranch trail, mountain trail events. And the clips that we've chosen to use are just of ourselves. Most of our video is in storage, but the horses that we're going to show are inexperienced in their first year or two of showing, making most of the bobbles that are very common to new riders and new horses. We threw in a little bit of Bridle-less and Liberty clips just for kicks and giggles. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call, email us, text us. We're always happy to talk about what we're passionate about. In this first section, we'll address the mountain trail, extreme mountain trail, cowboy trail challenge type events.
This is JoLinn on our good trail horse Buddy. Buddy's a very accomplished open level horse with multiple championship wins. He's really a joy to watch as he goes along. You'll notice the flow and the confidence that this horse shows in all obstacles. Obviously a very experienced horse and ridden very well too. So he's just a pleasure to watch. And this next obstacle coming up right here in the logs and sticks, I've watched him do it multiple times and he still brings tears to my eyes just watching how easily he accomplishes an obstacle that most horses would really struggle with.
This horse is also a good example to watch. He shows our philosophy in obstacle ownership really well. If you'll watch where I'm watching, I'm really just concentrating on the entrances and the exits and just pointing my horse in the direction of travel. He's taken ownership of those obstacles himself. So that just really shows, again, points home.
An experienced horse. Right here, it showed a slight hesitation in flow, but in actuality, she's switching judges right here. And there's two slight mistakes coming up. One right here, he kind of approaches this and gets a little short in his front feet, and it caused him to lose his balance and do a little rush out. And then as he goes through this next pile of sticks, you can see him at one point step on a log with a foot, and that's really the only mistake he's made. It happens right there.
This is just a different type of trail challenge and an outdoor one. This was a pretty tough obstacle. The horse had to take ownership of the obstacle. And this is more of a ranch trail type class where we had a log drag. And this is Mitch on his horse Buster. This is this horse's first year of showing in an open class, approaching the slidey bridge.
You can see the change in flow between the two horses. Now this bridge moves right there, and you can see him hold his balance and adjust to it. The main thing I wanted to point out about this horse, even though he's ridden with reins, if you want, yeah, there's a slight mistake coming up here as he jumps out of this box, and once again it's because his front end when he exited was too close. But notice the rein position, how it's always very loose, and he's very, very receptive to the signals and what I'm asking him to do at all times. But the loose rein just allows him to put his feet where he needs to put them. It's really important in trail obstacles.
And yet he maintains a connection. If you noticed when he approached the drag, he picked his reins up and made contact, signaling that there was another task at hand. And he's maintaining contact here to give his horse more support.
And you'll notice when we come around, there's a lot of distractions here. I have to wait for other horses, and you notice the horse just being very willing to slow down and wait. Excuse me. And then when he makes his approach to the ditch right here, you'll see me again pick him up and adjust his position to move him over to the left a little bit to get the log in the ditch. And you can see right here it's happening as he goes into the ditch. You can see it, how willing he is to do it. Real nice.
And those of you that are also crossover into cowboy dressage, you'll notice all the same maneuvers that we use in cowboy dressage: leg yields, forehand turns, haunch turns, side passes. Forward flow is really important.
Yeah, I'm going to break in here because this, once again, is his first open class, and they up the obstacles, and so right here it doesn't look like much, but this is called the holy water box, and when he goes through this box ahead of him, there's a board in there with holes in it that the water pushes up at him. He's never seen that before, and he's never seen the next obstacle either, and it's probably the most scary series of obstacles that we do is these two right here. The next one is the smoke ditch, and he has never seen it, and you can see him be very, very cautious about it, but still willing. And if you watch my legs and my feet, when he comes up here and starts noticing this, and you can see the worries start to happen, and he hesitates, he stops, and I just very, very quietly and carefully, and see how slow he's going as he checks his way through here, but still willing to do it because I'm asking him to. And even right here in the bottom of the ditch, you can see his head go down, the smoke's coming out there, and he doesn't lose his mind or anything. He just slows down and takes his time, and I was pretty proud of how he did that.
Notice also the use of the hands. He reached down and told him he was a good boy after the fact. He did not touch him during the obstacle, and it would have taken the horse's concentration away.
And here's a little rider mistake coming up right here, because as we start backing up this hill, it's not only steep, it's also slick, and you can see him really struggling, and I'm probably pulling a little bit too hard on him right at that point. Kind of got him a little short between the front and the back feet.
Little distraction out the door.
Little distraction, looking at that ditch going, are we doing that again? Yeah. And you notice how just about every obstacle he shows a little bit of lack of confidence. He's not saying no in any ways. He's just taking his time. And all that is just an experience level horse between JoLinn's buddy horse, who is very confident and accomplished, and this horse is much younger and more inexperienced. And it's not that he's not willing, he just doesn't show that confidence level, and he shows the lack of experience between him and the more experienced horse. Once again, a little back up into the water, so we're going around some rocks and then downhill into the water, and just letting him take his time, being very willing to let me push his body around. You can see great bend and everything as he reverses directions there. Hung up just a little bit right there, but that's all right for the level he's at. You can see from the expression of his face when he got in there, he's like, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So you can see in this next obstacle, there's a series of poles and they're tied, but they're floating in the water, but both ends are tied. And if you watch my hand, you can see me pick him up a couple of times and adjust his stride when he needs it. Once, twice, just kind of like say, take your time. And he just finishes it very quietly and confidently.
There's your little forehand turn into a side pass.
And once again, a little mistake coming up when he comes around here to shut the gate. I didn't get him quite in the correct position, and it shows up right there as he backs into the panel. And you can see I just didn't make a big deal out of it. I just readjusted him, and we went on with it. And he tried to leave a little early right there, but he's kind of sitting there quietly. He's doing a really nice nice job for the level of competition that he wasn't used to.
This is a speed event, a Pony Express race, and again, you can be asked to do a multitude of different tasks. Here's a little ranch trail competition. This was Mitch's old horse at Liberty. We are required to keep the halters on because of the multitude of different distractions on the course.
And once again, this mare is a very accomplished trail horse, but has a lot of opinions of her own, and you can see him expressing them here and there, but very nice horse, open level horse again. And right here you can see one of her mistakes. She's like, I know what I'm doing. Keep up there, boss.
So obviously it's really important to know where your horse is and wait on your horse for her to balance, rebalance, get her mind in the game a little bit better.
Sitting right with JoLinn really well right there, and keeping her feet right where they ought to be on that pedestal. Keeping her body lined up.
And again, wait.
Got a little too close to start with. She did. And a little hop on the exit.
But I'm not making a big deal out of her. Little mistakes there, just keeping it kind of quiet. She's had a hip injury, and sometimes that back end gets the best of her. And a wait and a reminder. And off we go. So we're going to start off showing you the ranch riding portion of the Versatility Ranch Horse events. And we've chosen to use an inexperienced horse. This is his first year showing in this type of event. And he's good to watch because the mistakes that we're making as a team, are very common to a first-year horse, and I think it'll give you guys a starting point.
Okay, this is a ranch riding class, JoLinn riding Buster, and in this class you're required to show all three gaits and the differences in the gaits also, and extended and more of a working gait. So she enters at the walk and then transitions to the trot. It can be done either in a group or it can be done one at a time, and in this case it's a one horse at a time class. And they're looking for regularity and freedom and the transitions between the gaits. She transitions to the lope, and you can see a lack of commitment in that transition. Smooth lope once he gets it established. And transition down to a stop. And then a turn on a haunch. And then back into the walking gait. And once again, we're looking for regularity, cadence, and also the rhythm of the gait as he goes along. You can see him kind of looking around and wandering around a little bit in this gait, but it's not bad. picks him up for transition to the lope. A little better transition that time. And asking for more of an extended lope down there on the end. And then transitions back into the regular lope and then down to the trot, and you could see him stumble and lose his balance in that downward transition. And to a stop in the back. Good rhythm in that backup.
So the next thing that we come to is the cow work portion of the Versatility event. And the type of cow work that's done is as varied as the events themselves. Some of them will have cutting out of the herd. Some will have, at the novice level, a boxing only class. Going up a level, we'll have boxing on both ends, and fence work, where you turn the cow on the fence at both ends and bring it out into the middle in circle and or rope. Our video of ourselves was not easily accessible, and so we've chosen just to show some pictures of the different types of events.
Yeah, and at some of the trail, more of the cowboy trail shows, sometimes I'll even lay some obstacles out into the arena, and you'll take a cow and sort it out of the pen, or 3 cows and sort it out of the pen, and then put them over the obstacles, which might be a section of logs or behind a barrel on the fence or through a gate or something like that. And so it can be very varied, but it's still cow work. It's just different angles that you can do with them. Okay, these next couple of clips we're showing it. They're more of the ranch style trail. It's still a trail class, but it's more of things that you might be required or you might see in a ranch style trail class. In this class, JoLinn is in the branding pen. There's a fire going there and a fake calf, and she's asked to just hobble her horse or ground tie him and then go over and brand the calf and then come back and get back on. So they're looking just, how's the horse going to handle this kind of a class and the smoke and things that you would see more in a ranch type environment. JoLinn's branding the calf now, and you can see the horse kind of gawking around. And you'll see him, this is his first year once again in the trail class, and you can see him show some nervousness and a little tension through this class, but he always stays with her and listens, and he took one little step there, not really paying attention to what she's doing, but still standing pretty quietly and waiting for her. And here she's asked to do a mount. She did the dismount onto the ground, and now she's doing the mount, checking her bridle and her cinch before she remounts. And then she gets on, they want to make sure those horses will stand and wait for you, and wait for you to tell them to move or go on to the next obstacle. And he's standing fairly quietly for her. Kind of takes off a little bit on his own right there, but now she's asked to open a pull gate.
There's a lot of distractions on the other side of those trees. There is a river, and there are other horses out on the course, so there's a lot of crashing and commotion on the other side. Personally, for myself, I like a horse that's going to pay attention and know that there's something out there, but that is not going to blow up and move his feet. These little tents there where we have a lead change in the middle here, and off around through the trees down to the crashing rocks. And this is a trail course in an actual Versatility Ranch horse show. This was a Western State stock horse pattern here. This is our son Rye, and this is this Stud's first year of showing in this type of event as well.
You can see this horse stands fairly patiently. You can see him kind of looking around, showing some concern, but, doing what he's asked to do, waiting for the rider.
It's a lope over. We want our Versatility ranch horses to move as though they're working outside every day on the ranch. So we don't want a lot of slow-mo, head on the ground. We want them doing their job.
A little trot in there, approach to the barrel drag. And you watch this horse through the drag. He approaches the barrel very nicely. He kind of looks at it, but approaches it really nicely, stands patiently, just waits for Rye to get his rope all untangled and ready to do the drag. And once again, just waiting for the rider.
And this is as if he was in the branding pen. Your horse needs to wait for you. If you have a calf on the end of the rope, it's a dangerous situation. So he's just doing his job.
And the drag that Rye does here is done very, very well. You can see the drag's fairly big, so there's some weight back there. And the horse is allowing the rider to put him exactly where he needs to be to make a really, really nice drag.
And as a judge, we're looking for continuity. We want the drag to stay the same distance from the barrels, making as perfect of a figure eight as we can and putting it right back into the place where it was when we got it. And it's also really important to coil your rope up neatly for the next person. Take the time to do it right. That just shows professionalism.
And you can see this horse starting to show a little concern about this log and barrel when he goes to put the rope back on the barrel. And, it's not exactly what you would want to have happen, but the horse isn't leaving or throwing a fit. He's just telling the rider he's a little bothered by that. And I thought both horse and rider handled that very, very well. Make a little trot on the approach to the gate. Arrange your reins where they should be so they're out of the way as you open the gate. And I thought Rye got a little bit close to his right-hand side there, more than necessary, but pretty minor mistake, really. He showed he was in control all the way through that gate opening.
Now we go into a ranch reining class, and again, they're as diverse as the events are. This is the same horse that was in the prior ranch riding video, and it's his first year. It's we're making some common bobbles that we get to point out to you along the way.
In this ranch riding pattern, JoLinn has to do a little low pin and stop in the center and the back, and then it is right into the spins. So she's doing her right hand spin first. And you can see a lack of rhythm, a lack of cadence, and not a lot of speed in this. The frame of the horse is pretty good, but, there's no rhythm or regularity to it. And into the left-hand spin. And she's doing what we always really start our younger horses on, a step forward into the spin. And this one's showing a little more speed on this side, but still you can see some lack of regularity, and then an overspin at the end.
That was a result of some equilibrium loss on my part since my head injury. I lose track of where I'm at.
And now she's doing some large circles. And you can kind of see the horse gawking around. She's having to bring him back, which kind of makes the circles not real even. It's not bad, but just kind of pointing out some of the things as they happen so you can see them. But you can kind of see him not really wanting to stay in the bridle and looking around and having to be brought back to work, which causes a change of rhythm in the gait.
This particular pattern did not call for different sized circles. It called for three circles, one slow, two fast. Simple change.
And you can see the difference in the circles when she comes down on this end, and it's pretty normal in this arena. That far end down there by the gate is where everybody's parked and where all the living quarters and the other horses are. So there's a lot of noise going on down on that other end that it bothers all the horses. So if you can see the difference in the gait here on this horse, he's much more comfortable down on this end than he was on the other end. And that's just normal in some arenas and something you have to be aware of and adapt to. Going into the lead change now. He misses the first time, and there he gets it. So about 3 strides before he finally changed.
Which would be some point penalties. Again, this is his first year. This is my first year back. A nice just looking for a nice balance stop. He kind of lost forward flow coming out of that rollback. In the ranch versatility classes, we're not looking for, 20, 30 foot slides. We're just looking for nice balance stops. Similar to cowboy dressage. Again, lost forward flow coming out. Picked up the wrong lead as a result. I probably maybe got after him a little bit there.
Didn't quite finish that stop once he committed, but not bad for a first time for that horse. Well, thank you for the opportunity to be able to present these videos and clips to you, and hope that we are able to help you from an educational and instructional point of view, and just look forward to seeing you on down the road. Thanks again.